This is America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listener-sponsored digital radio around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com, on the Nachum Segal Network, and, of course, in the beloved NSN app. Well, Eitan Freilich is going to join us in a minute. He, the challenge of releasing a brand new album pales in comparison to the challenges that his family has had recently. We'll discuss all of this coming up here. Eitan was scheduled for this morning. We gave him the option to postpone. He said no. We'll explain all of this coming up here at JM in the AM. But first, from the brand new album released last week by Eitan Freilich, an album entitled Peace Will Come, Yavo Shalom. It all starts with Ivdu. Eitan Freilich is brand new on a new Music Alert Wednesday at JM in the AM.
Hashem b'simcha bo lefanav binanav. Come on now. Are you ready? Here we go. Hallo yom chadash u'ma nishma haim hakol kmo yom etmol שכדהיה פתאום אומר היום כמה נפלא תתרגש, תתחדש ותתחיל את הכל מתחילה עבדו את השם בשמחה בוא לבן הבן נה 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 עבדו את השם בשמחה בוא לבן הבן נה
JM in the AM, brand new from Eitan Freilich. Album is entitled Yavo Shalom, Peace Will Come. It's a new Music Alert Wednesday, and Eitan Freilich is with us live via telephone. Eitan, good morning. Welcome back to JM in the AM.
Good morning, Nachum. Feels like Only yesterday that we spoke.
That's true. And let me explain to the audience some of the background of what's been happening over the last few weeks. Eitan and his wonderful wife, Gabriella, became proud parents of preemie twins just a couple of months ago. And as many people know, and Eitan and Gabriella have been very open about this and have been keeping everybody up to date in terms of what's happening in their lives. As many people know, Yeshaya Nassan, the older of the preemies, is progressing, Baruch Hashem, and I'm somebody who knows a little bit something about the preemie parent experience, and Baruch Hashem, we continue to pray for his refuah shlema. The unfortunate news, of course, that we learned last week is that Avidan Yehuda has passed away. And therefore, Eitan, to you and your wonderful wife, as strange as this sounds, but this is the first time we're speaking publicly, I'm going to say Mazal Tov to you, while at the same time I will say I hope that you are being comforted with all the good wishes that are coming from around the world.
No, you're 100% spot on. It definitely is a Mazel Tov. It's not been an easy ride, as you know, and it's definitely no part of the journey has been easy, but we've definitely been comforted by the messages and by the fact that we were happy and we were, I would say, blessed to have a beautiful, I would say, precious 5 weeks with Avidan. And like both Gabriel and I really do speak for both of us, and I don't always speak for both of us when it comes to music because we've got very different tastes. But when it comes down to this and the important things, we very much agree that we were the lucky ones. We had the honor, to be Avidan's parents. We were saying it last week at the Shiva that anyone could have been his parents, and we were the lucky ones to have a son with a pure neshama, and we're just grateful for those precious 5 weeks. So we mean that with a full heart when we say that. But thank you.
Wow. I think there are a couple of important messages here. Firstly, very often when someone goes through a tragic experience, those around them and those in the further outer circles around them very often don't know how to respond, what to say, prefer not to say anything. I think you can speak on behalf of those who've been through this type of difficult situation, that you'd prefer to hear from people than not hear from them.
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of learned something along the way. It's very hard. Sometimes people say funny things and silly things, and some people, as you said, don't say anything. And then some people also, are very open and they tell us their experiences. And what we've sort of learned is that everyone firstly means well, but also, unfortunately, we've learned that there's so many. Everyone has their own experiences. Everyone in life has their troubles and their problems. And if they want to be open, they should be allowed to be open. And if they want to be quiet, we thought, we sort of say to each other, then obviously they should be comfortable in being quiet. And but everyone experiences things. Originally a couple months ago when we had gone for some scans and whatever, we went to one of our favorite bagel places and we sat down there and no one knew anything at that point. And we looked around the room and we said, we're sitting here smiling and laughing because that's what we do. We always smile and laugh. And we looked around the room, and no one knew anything, and everyone else probably also has their own things. Everyone's got sorrows, everyone, unfortunately, but this is part of life, and it's just a matter of how you deal with it and how you cope with it. And our way was, honestly, we went downstairs to the consultant who actually delivered the babies, and we actually just said thank you. He is very funny. He called himself a tool of God. So and he for us he is a tool of God. He's a messenger, and he said I tried to do what I thought was best, and we thanked him for that,
right.
and we thank Hashem for the 5 weeks we had. And I truly say this, and I do want to say something positive is that our other son is in intensive care. He sort of went back to intensive care, but we want to stay positive with him because we feel the words are very, very powerful as well. And if we say positive things, then in Yirtzeh Hashem, positive things will happen. And we're very proud of him. I was with him until 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Yeah. So,
yeah, I can imagine it's dominating your life. The first point, there is something, and maybe any medical personnel that's tuned in would appreciate this. There is something when you're in a situation like this where the doctor acknowledges that I'm only doing my best, whatever God can help me do. Let's put it that way. And that's very, very reassuring to a patient or to a patient's parent when you know you're dealing with a medical professional who knows that ultimately this is all up to God. And I think
100%. What I also found interesting, going from what you've just said, is that the doctors had no idea that this was going to happen. He was actually, Avidan Yehuda was doing really, really well. And we said last week how even if he wasn't doing well, it's still, it was Hashem's plan, and obviously it is. But the fact that he was actually doing really well, and that he was actually on the up, and the next day he was supposed to come off life support, and he was doing really, really well, just shows us that really was his time to go. That was his moment. He was supposed to be in the world for 5 weeks exactly, and he brought us. I mean, he brought us so much strength because I get messages. We try our whole life to do. Everyone tries in their life to do good things and bring good things to the world. But our son has achieved in 5 weeks what many people still haven't achieved. I got a message, I think, end of last week, from somebody who told me that they've only davened. Well, they've struggled with God. They told me for a couple of years, and they haven't davened Shemona Esrei Amida for I think years. She says. And she wants to thank us. She said she davened her first Amida in a long, long time. And she davened it for Yeshai Nosson, for my eldest son, who's still in intensive care. And she said, thank you for giving me a reason to speak to Hashem again. And I thought that was really, really powerful.
You never know, huh? You never know.
You absolutely never know. And that's what we say. He's brought us strength, and we want to pass that strength on to everyone. That, everything's meant to be, and we truly believe that. And I thought it was quite fitting you chose Ivdu as the first song. Well, that's the first song on the album because we wrote that, and have you seen how I'm smoothly transitioning this one here? But we did. I'm being honest with you. We wrote that at the time where we wanted to say that whatever happens, every day is a new day, and every day is a new day, and every day we can find something good in it. And I promise you, that every day, since the tragic events have happened, we have tried to find something good in every day, and we sort of live by the concept of that, and that sort of gets us through it as well.
I will, Eitan Freilich, get back to the music in a moment. I just want to bring up one other point that I think is important. For those of us who are parents who have been told, your child may not make it through the night, and we had that experience. So we obviously have a different perspective on childbirth and the miracle of it. I think that one of the I think I mentioned this too in the email I sent you. I think one of the things that we can all transmit to others through these experiences is that we all have to remember when someone goes to the hospital and gives birth easily and with hopefully a short labor to a healthy boy or girl, and then goes home a day or two later. We have to remember what kind of miracle that is, how every one of those journeys is so miraculous. And thank God we've gotten to a point, both in terms of with the number of children being born, Baruch Hashem, and with the type of medical situations we have in most of these countries, Baruch Hashem, where the normal thing is that a child is born healthy, thank God, and taken home, and that's it, and let's go start our lives. But I think it's important that these types of things remind all of us who, thank God, have healthy children, that journey, the entire journey, is such a miraculous one.
100%. Totally agree with you. Very, very special. I'm telling you, I was in the neonatal department yesterday, and I sort of thought, Hashem must really be with that department because it didn't exist. It didn't exist. I mean, 50, 60 years ago, they told me it never existed. I don't know about America, but in the UK, and so it's unbelievable that these children are given a chance, because of medical research and whatever they do. It's very, very special. Hashem, I feel that Hashem is really, really. I'll tell you something I'm very happy to say this, but in our room in intensive care, there's 4 babies in a room, and at one point they were all Jewish babies, and we even said at one point we should put a mezuzah on the door. But Baruch Hashem, all those babies that were in the room, except for ours, but besides the point, all those babies that were in the room have moved up, and it made me really, really happy to hear, and we've really got friendly with a lot of the people there, and it's something very, very, very special, and so there is good news every single day, for these parents, and I think that's very, very special as well.
No question about it. All right, Eitan Freilich with us live via telephone. We continue to daven for Yeshaya Nusson He should get stronger and stronger, Eitan, and
Amen.
And this entire miracle of his birth and progress should continue. All right, we played Ivdu. I mean, the history. It's funny. A lot of people would have put this on hold. A lot of people would have certainly put this conversation on hold. But you're ready to remind everybody that you're out there to entertain, to inspire, to bring people to a higher level.
100%. We were so. Everyone said to me at the time, "Let's postpone the CD. Let's postpone the album." And we said, "Why do we stop bringing Simcha when we need Simcha at the most? You know, this is the time that we need it the most."
So when was this?
Definitely no stopping us there.
So when was this officially completed?
So we actually completed it in August. And we wanted to wait till after Sukkot to bring it out, and so we were, it was a labor of love. We started in January. I was at your studio in January,
right.
And we were writing the songs there. I had met with Yitzi Waldner and Eli Schwab, all the well-known composers I sat down with, and yeah, from there it sort of spiraled into this amazing project that sort of also happened very, very quickly.
Who wrote the Ivdu that we started with?
So Ivdu was actually one of the producers of the album. My friend here, one of my very good friends, Louis Hershaft, he wrote Ivdu and Shir Hashem, and Ivdu he composed with Yitzi Waldner. So it was a collaboration.
All right, with your permission, maybe we should do Shir Hashem now.
Shir Hashem is, and both of those songs, Ivdu and Shir Hashem, were words by Miriam Israeli. So even more special, and I definitely think Shir Hashem is one to play.
Yeah, she's a great lyricist, and we get a chance to hear the song. Eitan Freilich is with us live via telephone from the UK. He had enough time to leave the hospital for an hour to speak with us and update us on his family situation and on his music situation, which is pretty amazing, with a brand new album entitled Peace Will Come, Yavo Shalom. It's called Shir Hashem. It's a new music alert Wednesday at JM in the AM.
משי לעולם יצא אל תוך הרחובות יקבץ אותנו אחד אחד יכבד הלבבות ונלך במנגינה אחת יחד הקולות ממזרח וממערב מצפון ומדרום שירו שיר מזמור לה 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 שירו לשם לה 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 שיר חדש לה 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 שירו לשם לה 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 שיר חדש נחצה את הים נעלה על הנעבור בארצות ומי שישמע את השיר הזה ישכח את הצרות בטוב בנבל בחינום נשבח נהלל וכל העולם ידע שזו שירת עם ישראל ממזרח וממערב מצפון ומדרום שירו שיר מזמור לה 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 שירו לשם לה 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 שיר חדש לה 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 שירו לשם לה 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 שיר חדש שיר לשם שיר חדש
JM in the AM, Eitan Freilich with us on a New Music Alert Wednesday. Eitan in the UK. We are here in our studio in New York. Got time for a couple of more selections off the brand new album. Some really good. Look, it's all about good songs, Eitan. We've discussed this, and you reached out and found some really good composers for this album.
No, I'm very happy with how it turned out. It was a very different album I found to the last one because I learned a lot in the 2 years that followed for this album, and I found that I was able to input basically on every single song. I was able to input my own concepts, from my own experiences and memories through life. When I came to visit you in January, I had visited Eddie Schwab,
right.
And I took out this booklet from my wedding which Gabriella actually used under the chuppah, and we sort of went through loads of pages, and we got to the end and we found these words, and they were very meaningful and special to us, and a lot of colors, a lot of brides will recognize the words. This was from the song Hashkena, which it ended up Hashkena, and we literally wrote it there and then. And in the booklet of the album, I dedicated a lot of the album to Gabriella. But I find that like musicians and singers, everyone sees them and they sort of forget that at home there's like a wife and family and kids and whatever, and they also have a part in their life, because ultimately, it's not the most sociable job, because we're out a lot of the nights, and it sort of has an impact on their life too. So I very much say that Gabriella, I said to Gabriella in the album dedication, I said, we live and breathe these concepts in music, and we actually do it together. Although I'm the one singing, it's very much a partnership, because she's the one that encourages me very much so, and definitely encourages me to be out most of the nights of the week. So I'm very happy to, and this is a very, very special song to write with Ellie. So. It's
funny you mentioned, and we'll get to the song in a second, it's funny you mentioned that, because there are people curious if you're able, with everything happening over the last month or two, if you're able to keep up any time of appearance schedule. Has that...
No, I don't. Just like this interview, I didn't cancel. I said to you guys that I really, really wanted to go ahead with the interview. I don't like canceling simchas. I said to you before, when you need simcha, it gives me the energy. It gives me the power to continue what we're doing. And this is what life's mission is, and we need to keep going. We don't want to stop and don't want to cancel. So I actually, often a lot of the simchas are in hotels. I'm in town with my son,
right.
and a lot of the simchas are nearby. So I literally will walk over there. I don't even have to get a car. I walk over, I sing, and then I come back afterwards at 12 o'clock at night. I'm allowed 24/7 with my son in hospital. So it's sort of a unique experience that I'm having at the moment.
I'll tell you, that's funny, huh? The silver lining, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You got to find good in everything. That's exactly it.
All right, you mentioned Hashkena. Here it is for everybody at JM in the AM.
שביסינו זה יסבורך בשלום ובשלווה באהבה ובריאוס בנחס בבריאוס ובכל בחוי צוחו עטוי יהי רצוי שביסינו זה יסבורך בשלום ובשלווה באהבה ובריאוס בנחס בבריאוס ובכל בחוי צורכו עטוי השכינה Ashkena שביתנו זה יסבורך בשלום ובשלווה באהבה וביוס בנחת בביוס ובכל יסוד צורך הטוב
JM in the AM, brand new Eitan Freilich. He's with us live via telephone.
That gives me a big smile, Nachum, because that brought back memories. It was a good song.
Amazing. That is a good one.
I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the front cover, Nachum?
Yeah, I have, but how do I put this? It's easier for a guy like me if I had it in front of me. You guys these days insist.
We'll get you a copy.
Right, exactly. You guys these days insist on putting it on the computer. Did you actually release a real CD to this or not?
Yeah, we did. We'll get you a copy sent over. It was an amazing experience, just sort of taking the front cover picture, because the whole point was like to make the album slightly different to any other album, and we were like, how should we do that? So someone had the idea to bring in a drum, and we had Nechama from Nechama's photography. She took this picture. She had to take about, I think, 600 pictures with like water gushing everywhere. And I think the worst part of the whole experience, because it was quite funny, but I think the worst part was like the neighbors coming to complain about the noise of the drumming. So that was a particular experience I won't ever sort of leave my mind.
But I'm looking at it right now. So I'm trying to. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It doesn't look as complicated as you just described. Let's put it that way.
It was. It took a lot of people involved as well. One person was pouring the water. One person was doing the lighting. One person was holding the drum from underneath. It was a right kerfuffle to make. I'm telling you, but it was good fun.
I'm glad you mentioned this because now
I had to pick a suit, Nachum. I had to pick a suit that I'm happy to get wet.
Now I have a greater appreciation for the cover. Eitan Freilich, Yavo Shalom, Peace Will Come. It's the name of the album. I assume this is available everywhere. What should people do who want this album?
It's available on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Play, Nigun Music, Mostly Music, literally anywhere you want it. I'm sure it's available.
Has the real CD gotten to the U.S. yet or not?
Yes. Sruli from Nigun Music was telling me yesterday that it's been shipped to all stores.
All right.
So, if it's not in your store, you should let them know and they'll get it in.
All right. Eitan Freilich, Yavo Shalom, Peace Will Come. Ask for it, everybody, and check it out. You can search online. Eitan, we'll do one more as we say goodbye. What would you like to choose off of the brand new album?
I'm sort of thinking that it wouldn't be right to do an interview with you, Nachum, if we didn't play Yavo Shalom.
Okay. That's a good point. All right, so we'll do the title track. Listen, to you, Gabriella, to Yeshaya Nusson,
thank you.
The very best going forward. There are a lot of people out there keeping him in mind every single day, as you know.
Thank you. It's Yeshaya Nusson Ben Shira Gittel. So if you could all dive in, do any good deed and action, we'd be really, really, really grateful.
Yeshaya Nassan ben
Shira Gittel.
Sarah Gittel?
Shira,
Oh,
like the
Shira.
song.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. He married somebody named Shira.
It got mentioned just a few times at the wedding.
Now I can imagine. Yeshaya Nassan ben Shira Gittel. Yeshaya Nassan ben Shira Gittel for a refuah shlema. And thank you for sharing all that you've shared with us this morning. A lot of life lessons from your experience. And I
Thank you for having me.
I hope the next few weeks really go well, and that things and that the miracle accelerates itself with the help of the one above. Thank you, Eitan, and best regards.
Thanks, Nachum.
Best regards to everybody. And as we said, we will wrap up with the title track, Yavo Shalom, Eitan Freilich. The name of the album is Peace Will Come, and you are listening to JM in the AM.
יש מילה אחת שהיא יפה כל כך לא משנה איזו שפה היא תישאר הכי יפה כולם רוצים אותה ולא מוצאים אותה אז ממשיכים כולם לחלום שבאמת יבוא שלום עוד יבוא שלום עוד יבוא היום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם עוד יבוא שלום אז נגשים חלום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם לה 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 שלום שלום לה 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 שלום שלום תגיד שלום אחי אתה וגם אני מתחילים כך בקטנה ועד לכל המדינה אם תקבל אותי גם אקבל אותך והכדור עוד יתגלגל עד לשלום הפני תבל עוד יבוא שלום עוד יבוא היום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם עוד יבוא שלום אז נגשים חלום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם לה 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 שלום שלום לה 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 שלום שלום עוד יבוא שלום עוד יבוא שלום שלום עוד יבוא שלום עוד יבוא שלום עוד יבוא היום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם עוד יבוא שלום אז תגשים חלום עלינו ויעד כולם שלום בכל העולם לה 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 לה
JM in the AM, brand new Eitan Freilich. I thank him for joining us. Brand new album, Yavo Shalom, Peace Will Come.